But that leads me to the next question and last question I have.
Yep.
If KD does come back to his original self
Yep.
and takes the Nets to the finals and wins,
Yep.
is he in the GOAT debate?
GOAT debate?
Yeah, that's...
All right, chill
This
out.
is an ESPN question, by the way.
Whoever made that question is slandering LeBron and Michael Jordan.
I think it was on First Take.
Of course it was on First Take. They put all kinds of wild questions on First Take. No, just don't. Look.
Yeah, Max Kellerman.
Of course, it's Max Kellerman. Look, I love Max Kellerman, but he says some crazy stuff. He says he would trust Iguodala to take a clutch shot more than Steph Curry. I think that's all you need to know on that. But okay, look, I think it's an interesting question. It's definitely something that poses an interesting debate. No, he's not. LeBron James, for starters, will have won more rings with less weapons. I mean, look, think about this. KD, great talent around him, not just Kyrie Irving. Look, we've had our debates on Kyrie Irving. I actually think Kyrie Irving is as a number one option detracts when you look at the locker room effects that he's had in Boston and Brooklyn. But he's got Karis LeVert, he's got Dinwiddie, he's got Joe Harris. There's a lot of talent around him, and you could argue actually is better than LeBron, especially when you factor in somebody like Jared Allen, who's good. It's a lot of good young talent. So it's hard to weigh. Obviously, LeBron has the best co-star out of them. But for me, I think there's going to be the question of, KD, his first 2 titles, he won in a Big Four. That's more talent than LeBron even had around him in Miami.
That's one more talent.
And also the role players, I think, fit better. And coaching, I mean, I think Spoelstra is actually a better coach than Kerr, but it's semi-comparable. I'll give Spoelstra the edge because of the number of years.
I don't know. A Heat fan once told me that Spoelstra is the best coach in NBA history.
He's a phenomenal coach. He's not the best in NBA history, but he's a phenomenal coach.
Who are you going to say, the Bulls coach?
It could be Phil Jackson. It very much could be. It very well could be.
Who's the other one?
Which one?
Who's the other coach in your mind? Like, if it could be, then you have to think of another one.
My brain is
so
not.
It's Phil Jackson. Then
I think it's Phil Jackson. It's got to be. Yeah. So no, he's not. Because of the fact that he was in a Big Four, and yes, he won Finals MVP both times and beat LeBron, but also some of those Cavs teams he beat, especially in 2018. Like 2018, that Cavs team was a joke. It was LeBron James and pretty much no one else. And so, no. If KD were to do that multiple times, yes. But I think that's disrespectful to Michael Jordan and LeBron to say that. That's a long-winded answer because we got on some tangents.
Yeah. My thinking on this is he has to do it at least twice with Kyrie because Kyrie's a handful now.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe he was a handful with LeBron. We really don't know that because
he probably was.
He wasn't fully like, you know.
He wasn't. He didn't think he was the man. Yeah.
Like, so we don't know. He probably was. I don't want to assume anything right now. But if he was, LeBron kept him in check. If KD can keep him in check and win 2, maybe back-to-back, who knows, if KD returns to his true form, then I think KD, because this was a debate, like when KD was in OKC, KD or LeBron, who is the better player.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I kind of said KD for like 1 year.
When KD was in Golden State, that was when it was huge.
Oh, yeah. No, that's when he got big. He started in OKC.
Yeah.
Though.
He was. I don't think he was better in OKC, but that's a different debate for a different day. Yeah.
I think if he can do it twice with Kyrie, because he's a handful now.
Yes. Even more so than he probably was in 2016.
Yeah, I think he'll slither his way into the debate. Because KD is honestly a great player.
Yeah.
He, and you can say he had help for the 2 rings he already has. He did. Yeah. But I mean, even with that, he was a phenomenal player, one of the best players I've ever watched, and I've watched Dirk Nowitzki, the GOAT. Yeah. So I think 2 finals back to back is the way he can get into the GOAT debate. Max Kellerman's getting ahead of himself. 1 final appearance. 1 final win isn't enough yet. You know, you need at least tie LeBron. Yeah. And even then, like, now I do think it's definitely harder to win with this Kyrie compared to LeBron's Kyrie because he's a mess.
Yeah, well, and here's the thing. It's so hard to weigh this because Kyrie might have been this way all along, and it just got more media attention. Because there are stories that Kyrie actually, after 2016, wanted to request a trade. And I think you could also argue that this whole subordinate mentality where you're like, clearly LeBron, I'm in LeBron's shadow, I think I should be the man in a different spot, could actually subconsciously undermine the system more, because at least you know what you're getting now with Kyrie. But yeah, I do agree with you. I think that the levels that we've hit with Kyrie are probably higher than they were in 2016 and definitely more visible. So if he did it twice, he'd match LeBron for rings, assuming LeBron doesn't win another. It's a legitimate debate.
I'd also think, the fact, because he has an Achilles tear right now.
Yeah, right? I mean, coming back from that is massive. This is a 7-footer.
After 30 feet, after 30, it affects people, horribly.
And he's over 7 feet, which is even more relevant as well.
If he was younger than 30, then he would probably be fine. But now it's actually harder to get back to his original form.
Yeah.
So if he does that for 2 more years and goes back to back and wins, then I feel like, he will definitely be in the debate at that point, because that is honestly something that hasn't been done in NBA history.
I agree with you. I think that would be an incredible achievement, and it'd be a huge narrative for KD. Also, right, the Nets, obviously a talented team, but they would presumably have to run through teams like the Lakers or a team like the Clippers, although I don't know about Pandemic P in the playoffs anymore, but there would be a good team in the West, arguably better, that they'd have to get through.